So you started physics 2020 में, 2020 में. So if you were to start a degree again, or let's say I give you a year before college, or you have your 3-month break between school and college, right? When you start your first semester. If you could have that time again, and you want to do physics, what would you spend your time doing then?
I see. So you're asking that there can be two questions here. One is that if I have to start my degree again, how would I go about it?
Yeah, perhaps that. Yeah.
Or if I have 3 months before starting my degree. Both le lo. Okay. So I think before coming to college, I wouldn't spend much time doing it.
You wouldn't spend much time?
I wouldn't. I may, because if you're from a science background, class 11, 12th ka NCERT physics and all, physics, math and all, the math level is quite good.
Okay.
The calculus done in class 12th.
So CBSE math is good, but more than good.
ICSE math, any of the maths, they are good enough.
Mm-hmm.
In those 3 months, if you honestly ask me what would I have done before coming to college, I actually wouldn't do much of physics. I would focus more on my health. Honestly, I would focus more on constructing some good habits. For example, focus. That is something that people already have very less focus. When you come to college, there are so many distractions that you have even less focus.
Yeah.
So before coming to college, I wouldn't focus. I wouldn't, get too much tensed about the subject that I'm going to do. I would sort of work around my personality, the way I talk, the sort of getting a sort of a holistic personality.
Yeah.
That I can talk to different people and not just one particular category of people. I may end up spending 3 months on physics, 3 months doing physics, but that may not help me talk to, say, you. Or you're also in a technical field, say some other person at a show.
Perhaps English, perhaps.
Say someone like that. I may not get that, I would not focus too much on the physics. I would still read the books. That's true that I'm going to read some books that I still do.
Yeah.
But I won't do too much of studying physics and all.
Yeah.
I have to come to college. Anyways, they're going to teach me everything from scratch.
Right.
So why should I do it over here? What I would do is work on my personality.
I have a question. So does that come from a place like you feel like you missed out on that opportunity? Like it's only recently that you've been developing all facets of your personality?
I don't think it's a missed opportunity for me, because I think... so in some sense that when I was back in school, I used to do a lot of sports. I think 7-8 hours of sports maybe a day.
Yeah.
And
back 7-8 hours what?
Yeah, I think it was about 7-8 hours of sports.
It didn't even register.
Maybe 5 seconds. No, I think when I was in class 11th and 12th, so I come from the school called Daily College in Indore, and sports was a big thing at my place. Sports was and all of me, my friends, all of us, we were sort of, sports enthusiasts. And I used to do athletics, 800-meter running I used to do. And I would start training at 5 o'clock in the morning and train till about 8 o'clock.
Nice.
Even in the evening, we would start at around, 2:50-ish, 3 o'clock. And would train till 6:30.
That's 6.5 hours of training.
6.5 hours, something like that. And following a proper diet, for years and years, I did not have pizza, burger, or junk food.
So no fast food was.
No fast food. I think it's been, I don't know, 10-15 years that I have had a sip of Pepsi, cold drink, whatever.
So you haven't had Pepsi for 10-15 years?
Yeah, I haven't had yet. I don't know, I sort of lost the habit. I wasn't very fond of it. But even I think with time, because I did not get a sort of, the thirst. Okay, I want to drink this. Because I never tried, I never actually got the thirst as well.
Yeah.
I think at that time, and I used to read a lot and do a lot of, participation in the debating and stuff like that.
So elocution, that kind of thing.
Elocution, debates and singing, stuff like that. At home, I think during the COVID times, it was, for everyone, it was quite a sad time. It was a very difficult time. But personally, I feel that was the most productive time of my life. COVID time.
Yeah.
I've never been more productive, more sort of focused on myself. Never before. I used to wake up every day at 4:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I would start a whole workout session, a bit of yoga, amazing diet. And because I'm not a big fan of sugar, I don't eat much sugar. And I think when there is someone in your vicinity who's sort of focused on health or who's focused on, say, studies, something like that, everyone living around that person becomes a bit
Influenced,
focused
yes.
on that. For example, when I was in hostel, because my friends were into sports, or say a few hours into sports, people around us also got into sports.
Yeah.
Right? Because you see them going playing, you see them achieving something, you see that they are gaining popularity, or they are gaining, if not popularity, then something else in their life which is worth having.
Yeah.
Health, fitness, or just going out on adventure. You can do things that normal people can't. That sort of health benefits and all of that. So when I was at home, I think because I was so much into this, my parents also got motivated that, we should also build up our health. And we all started eating healthy food, and good time, like 6 o'clock dinner done.
Bhai sahab.
So all that kind of thing, and like for one, and I think after going to, I was in a boarding school, and I was for 4-5 years I was in the boarding school, and after, I think like this was after this 4-5 years, this was the first time that I've lived with my parents for this long, because of course before my boarding, but I actually never sort of imagined that I'll get to live with them again for this extended period
After
of 2 years.
COVID, yeah.
During the COVID times, because in the boarding school it was sort of assumed that I can't go back to my hometown to do a college. We don't have colleges there, so I have to come to a place like
Jhansi mein matlab itne college nahi hai.
Jhansi, yeah. I mean, like there's no, it's not a education place, something like that.
Okay,
There's no much.
like Pune, it's like Pune is known.
Pune, Mumbai, Bangalore, they're known for education hub kind of thing.
Yeah.
In my hometown, it's a small town.
Yeah.
So there's not much education and all over there. But I came to so sort of in my imagination, after school, boarding school, I had college. After college, there was further degrees or whatever job and all we do. So I never imagined that I would get to live with my parents in between like that
extended period of time.
Yeah, but I got that, and we developed some amazing habits. I did some of the best courses. I started watching good documentaries. All of that stuff happened, and quite a productive time of my life. I read a lot of books during that time. Fun.
Yeah.
When I came back to Ashoka, the first semester I followed everything, going perfect.
First semester was online for you. No?
I mean, yeah, the first entire year was sort of
COVID, yeah.
online, but the first semester that I was at Ashoka, that is the third semester.
So third semester, second year.
Second year, kind of a
And
thing.
you had to come back because of labs, I'm assuming.
Because of labs,
Yeah,
exactly.
not even because COVID was.
Not because of COVID, yeah, exactly. Because of labs.
So
We had to
quarantine
come
and
back.
all for 5 days.
Yeah, oh my god, that beautiful period at Ashoka. I mean,
Oh, that was beautiful for
That
you.
was
The quarantine. Not seeing a human.
not quarantine, but I think like only like 300 or 400 people at Ashoka campus.
Uh-huh.
That was a beautiful period. We'll talk about that as well. Like a beauty, like the most fun time at Ashoka when there are less people, like the summer semester, a beautiful time period or that sort of
I'm
time.
gonna stay back. Yeah.
Definitely. So I think like after the first semester that I was at Ashoka, the third semester, I focused a lot on these things again, health and all of that. I was waking up still at 5 o'clock, going to gym, hitting all of that kind of thing. In the evening, I would run around, stuff like that, and maintained all my
Habits.
and also, of course, like when I was in school, I was doing athletics competitively, participating in tournaments and stuff like that. Once you pass out, once I wasn't during the COVID times, I wasn't doing it competitively, but doing it for ourselves, like, just for maintaining health. But I think like after from the fourth semester, something, I think the course load or the trajectory changed a bit. I don't know, I could have still managed it maybe, but whatever happened around that time, I could not manage my habits anymore. I started eating like one meal a day, gym and all off. I remember like, I think for entire 2-3 semesters, it was like, I'm sleeping one night, then I'm not sleeping one night, then, sleeping one night in 2 days kind of a thing. And for long extended periods.
It's a big difference from waking up at 4 and training. And
Definitely. I mean, like,
sleeping.
exactly. Like, that's the, so I was I used to follow a lifestyle, which is sort of considered an ideal lifestyle. You're waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you're doing a lot of work, you're studying a lot, you're reading books and all, you have an early dinner, you spend time with the family, you go to bed early, stuff like that. I was following an ideal life, talking to people, meeting and traveling a bit. From that, I went to a life which is something that, your parents warn you about. You don't stay up at late, don't miss meals, eat healthy food, don't eat junk food, don't eat this Maggie and don't eat too much like that. That's exactly what I
ended up doing.
Shifted to. Not because sort of like, I was doing it intentionally, but the way things are moving around me, some assignment came up, I wasn't understanding how to do this damn thing. I start reading a book, I finish the relevant chapter, I try to solve the assignment again, I still can't do shit. So I was like, dude, and then you go talk to professor and they may motivate you, they may not motivate you. At the end of it, you would end up feeling sort of I ended up feeling a lot of demotivated and
mentally
sort of
fatigued.
mentally fatigued. You're sort of stressed.
Yeah.
And so for an entire, I think 2-3 semesters, maybe not 3, but 2 semesters, thing did not work out great for me.
Huh.
I was sort of
So third and fourth semesters. Yeah.
third, fourth semesters. I think they were sort of my pitfall. Not third. Third is something that I think I managed. This is a sports wala semester, the third wala.
Mhm.
But I was at Ashoka. I was waking up early and stuff.
So fourth and fifth.
Fourth maybe, yeah. Fourth and a bit of fifth, not. But
Okay.
majorly fourth was like the slope went like that.
At least in terms of your health, I'd say.
All sorts of health, psychological health, mental health, physical health, emotional health, all possible health. My energy level I was like, all that's, I didn't feel like doing gym. I didn't feel like doing anything, substantial, basically. I used to talk to, like, there was a time at Ashoka where if I would sit at the dining table if I look around the mess, I would know 85% of the people sitting in the mess. Because we used to talk so much with them. I used to talk so much with everyone. But during that semester, I did not have the energy to talk to people anymore. I was like, kya baat karni hai yaar? Khao jao yahan se kind of thing. So I think that semester, because of the course load and all that, it became quite difficult for me.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think, like, after that, this was also the time when I shifted to philosophy.
Oh.
Yes, this is the time. This is the time when I shifted to a bit of philosophy. And for 2 weeks, so because I wasn't performing well, I was sort of, what happened is that in the previous semester before that, when the third semester, with the good semester, I did not study much. Okay, at Ashoka, I did not study much.
In your fourth semester.
Third semester. When I was at Ashoka.
Okay, that's when your habits were in place. Could be. Huh?
I did not study much, but I got good grades.
Mm-hmm.
I did not understand much concept, but I was able to solve, get around problems and all of that. And I started doubting myself.
Okay, during the third sem.
During my third sem, कि यार
grades तो आ रहे हैं.
Grades तो आ रहे हैं, but समझ में नहीं आ रहे हैं कि what am I doing wrong? And if I try to sit and solve a problem, I wasn't able to do it. I was getting grades because COVID के time में सबको grade मिल जाता है.
हाँ.
But I wasn't understanding the stuff. So I started doubting myself.
So there was this thing कि यार grades आ रहे हैं, but I'm not really understanding.
Grades तो आ जाते थे.
Grades का मतलब I am understanding, but
exactly.
Prediction.
Also like कहाँ से like
discrepancy क्यों है ये?
हाँ, and like I didn't feel satisfied of the entire semester.
Oh.
यार मतलब मैंने
ऐसा लगा कुछ सीखा नहीं.
हाँ, exactly. Grades तो आ गए, marks आ गए, अच्छे आ गए, ठीक है, सीखा नहीं कुछ. So at that time, I started doubting myself कि am I actually made for this subject? I don't know why. I've loved physics since like I think since class 6th, 7th, when I watched Iron Man for the first time. Since then, I started loving physics. And this time, I started doubting it. Yaar, am I actually made for it? And then I started exploring other options. And this option of philosophy came in front of me. I realized that I enjoy this subject. And philosophy, they have a subset of it called metaphysics. Time travel and stuff like that. I was like, this is something that I enjoy. That I want to do this.
Yeah.
There's not much math involved in it. It's just, intuition and theory and stuff like that. You do a little bit and you get around with stuff like, quantum realm and all of that kind of thing. But I also, there's something that my brother told me then. I went to my home and I said, I want to shift from physics to philosophy. And they were, in the beginning, they were quite hesitant towards it because
your parents and your brother.
Parents and all of them. Yeah, that what opportunity are there in philosophy? Like, other than being a professor, and that to being a professor in philosophy is very competitive. It's very difficult. There's not much funding or anything like that. So, like, how good is a life of a philosopher? How excitement or like, is it like a roller coaster or what's happening?
So it wasn't just, the concern wasn't just employability.
It wasn't just employability. No, I think like,
interesting.
Yeah, because none of us were a philosopher in my home. none of us have done a degree in that. So we were like sort of confused here, at least if you're a physicist, you're doing experiments, you're being a part of big projects, $1 billion industries, you're part of ISRO, NASA, you celebrate a lot, you may get multiple opportunities like that. But what is happening in the field of philosophy like that, which is that exciting, rather than reading books, that was, we didn't know. That was a sort of imagination that we had. So they were quite concerned about me that you actually want to do the subject. And I was like, yes, I love this subject. I don't care about anything else. I care about the fact that I love this subject and that's what I want to do. I love reading books about it. I can spend times thinking about stuff. I can spend hours thinking about stuff and all of that. My brother said that you are interested in metaphysics. He said that he may not be great at it, but he knows one thing. He's a very logical minded person. He's doing He did masters in data science and all of it. He's working there only right now in the US. And he said that you cannot possibly be a good metaphysicist unless you are a good physicist. Unless you understand the
workings of physics.
And unless you understand the theory, and of course physics ka theory you don't understand without understanding math.
Yeah.
So he said that unless you understand physics, no matter what you say, like,
can't do metaphysics.
Yeah, you'll become sort of like those Baba talking about E is equal to MC square and stuff like that. Your whatever you say about metaphysics is going to be baseless.
That's a good
if you're not coming from the field of physics.
Hmm.
Right now, if any of those Nobel Prize winners or Kip Thorne or something like that, if they say something about metaphysics, it's going to be a big deal. People may actually think about it.
Yeah.
But right now, if any other person may say anything about physics, metaphysics, people may not give it much weightage as to, like, no matter what their profession, if it's not coming from a sound physics base, it's not relevant.
Yeah, you wouldn't have credibility.
Exactly. There's no credibility over there. Exactly. That is sort of a thing then.
Which got you back to physics then?
I think that I was like, no, dude, I'll figure it out. I don't have to worry too much about that. I love this subject. I love studying this subject, and that's what I'll do.
Okay.
I said that the problem is about finances. I know I'm quite smart. I'm sort of smart enough to figure my way around life.
Oh, so you're like, हाँ ठीक है, पर I'll be able to earn money from this. Main concern आपका probability लग रहा है.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to worry about it. I know पैसे आ जाएंगे. But I'm going to do this because मुझे लग रहा है ये मेरा field है.
Exactly.
हाँ, तो मैं physics वाला point भाई, sorry.
हाँ, exactly. भाई कितना ही logical हो, I don't care. I love this kind of a thing करके, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I was like, बाहर में क्या logic? प्यार देखना है हमें kind of. So like that, it became I came back to Ashoka, and then one of my friends, they asked me a very sort of a subtle question that sort of brought me back to physics in some sense. Then they asked me कि
4th semester में हो रहा है सब कुछ है.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the beginning of 4th semester. And they asked me this question that, are you joining philosophy because you love philosophy, or are you joining physics? Are you joining philosophy because you want to run away from physics?
Oh,
yeah.
That's such a philosopher question.
Yeah. And I said, shit. I mean, like, and I got very pissed off because, there were like there were hundreds of people who were sort of, not hundreds, I mean, of course, a couple of people in my life who were sort of asking me, are you sure you want to do philosophy? Are you sure you want to do philosophy and not physics? And yeah. So, but I wanted some support. I wanted someone to say, yeah, dude, you can do philosophy as well and can do well in life.
Yeah.
But no one was saying that, and I was getting a bit annoyed. And when I came back, when this person asked me this question, I got even more annoyed. Anyways, I don't have answers to any other problem, and you have asked the biggest question now. Am I doing philosophy because I love philosophy, or because I want to run away from physics?
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that, of course, I was also taking philosophy classes. I took 3 weeks of philosophy I did. And another thing that I realized while doing philosophy is that I love this subject. I love doing this subject. I love studying this subject on my own. I cannot do it in a classroom environment.
But you have assignments, when you have deadlines.
Exactly.
You have to learn the material.
You have to learn the material.
The syllabus hai.
Sort of go through it or whatever, like when I have to sort of, accept someone else's philosophy. Or when I don't have the, say, sort of a freedom of negating someone's philosophy. I did not I did not sort of enjoy that aspect. I realized that this is a subject that I love on myself. If there's a philosopher in front of me, if there's anyone, I would love to talk about it. I would love to discuss it. I would love to read.
Yeah.
It's not something that I want to do in a classroom environment, in this educational sort of setting. And I also realized that why I was doing philosophy is not because I wanted to do philosophy, is because I was actually running away from physics.
The challenges of physics.
Exactly.
The challenges of learning the actual thing.
Exactly.
Samajhna.
It's hard. It's gonna make you cry multiple times. You have to do the math. You cannot avoid math. You have to do competition. You cannot avoid competition. You have to sit. You have to, put your ass down and read the damn book. You cannot get ahead of that. You cannot skip it through. Yeah. I realized that I'm actually running away from it. And I didn't feel like home at philosophy because, I want to do that subject on my own. But because I was doing it in a classroom environment, I didn't feel like doing it that much. So I came back to physics.